WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College, is looking for individuals, businesses, charities, or organizations in our local and global community that would like to donate to support our radio station. Whether you listen locally or online, here is how it works. Go to our webpage at ncc.edu/WHPC and click Donate Now. Or if you prefer, you can send a check to WHPC Radio, 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York, 11530. Make check payable to the NCC Foundation. In the memo of your check, write WHPC Donate Now. Any contributions will help defray our operating costs, and it's tax deductible. This message was brought to you by the radio voice of Nassau Community College, streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Listening to the Motor Mouth.
Everybody's here. This is a round table here that's absolutely terrific.
Mr. Christian and Brother Ray, how are you guys? You guys bring so much to the Long Island automotive community. It's unbelievable.
Motor Mouth!
Hey, Motor Mouth guys, how are you?
They had me laughing all day.
Would you argue with a man who's thinking of booze and wearing a Motor Mouth Radio t-shirt?
Charlie will touch this little como se llama thing.
I am listening. I call you guys at various milestones, like when I hit 100,000, when I hit 2.
Motor Mouth!
You guys got insurance?
I can't believe to the miracle of modern radio I can actually hear you.
I was listening to the radio and I wanted some advice.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Hey, the Motor Mouth for one. Maybe I'll call him an FM.
So you have a sighting, a Motor Mouth Radio t-shirt sighting in the pits earlier.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
But now you know how I feel when you're making fun of me.
Ray was doing some Italian accents, and Chris, you killed me when you mentioned some place in Brooklyn, free housebreaking wee-wee pad.
Went over to your link and I ordered my Motor Mouth Radio t-shirt.
And you don't have to be Jewish to join either.
Motor Mouth!
I did not listen to your advice.
What?
I know.
I've been listening to you guys for probably about a year now.
So is this the infamous shop bench?
This is the shop bench.
All right, and a handsome shop bench it is.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motor Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth!
This is Motor Mouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motor Mouths, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
Alrighty, the completely inappropriate and uncalled for automotive talk show is right here for you. It's Motor Mouth Radio. I'm Chris Switzer, and of course, here's the man who touts that nobody gets punched out at his rallies, and he's pushing for 1 or 2 or whatever, a whole crowd of them. It's Ray Guarino behind the shop bench. How are you, my brother?
Behind the shop bench, being just fine. Yes, we are also sitting next to the man who doesn't need 6 sea containers of gear, a 747 that cost about $6 million, with a crew of 350 people for support, like the Rolling Stones do, just to jam and have fun. It's Mr. Joe D, who knows how to do the stuff on the cheap. How are you, my brother?
Good and cheap. You want to talk about cheap, bring it on.
Good and cheap. That pretty much encompasses this whole show.
Yeah.
You can get a hold of us, 516-572-7440. That's the phone number to stretch the wrinkles out of our brain. You can also watch us. Because we're on VaughnLive.tv/MotorMouthRadio. Watch. See? Watch the fingers fly.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to worry about the FCC with you.
No, not with that. Not with that. Just no inappropriate talk on there, but I think body parts are included.
Right. So, in other words, we can't say nothing, but we could sign it.
Right.
Okay.
You could sign it.
Oh, now I got to go learn that.
But you can pretty much stretch the wrinkles out of Joe's brain and test him with what he already knows at 516-572-7440.
Yeah, Joe,
I don't know if you want to go there today.
Joe was on a little bit of maybe of a low. We were just discussing that. And I have a perfect question that'll play into that, even though you have not been drinking. Maybe it would have helped if you were.
Yeah, right. At least I have an excuse, right?
I have a question.
Okay.
Here it is. It's another one of those percentile things.
Oh, boy.
Over 40% of Americans don't know how to spell the word Budweiser. Over 40% do not know how to do that. Only one alcoholic beverage is misspelled more. And the question is, what is it? And we'll follow that through the show. You can think on that.
Okay.
We'll let the callers get in, of course, like we always do.
Is it a beer?
No.
It's not a beer.
No. It's an alcoholic beverage, not beer.
It's not
so
a
it's
beer.
not Yuling.
Yingling.
Who?
Right.
Yingling.
Yingling?
Yeah, Yingling.
Okay.
And it's probably not Jägermeister either.
It is Jägermeister. Which is the perfect guess. Now,
did they serve that in the discos back in the day? Is that how you know that?
So okay. So now you have the honor of spelling Jägermeister.
I'll get it wrong.
If you can't spell it, you get no credit.
I'll get it wrong.
10,000 points goes to Joe.
Well, I'm thinking it's Y-A-E-D. It's not a Y?
No.
Or either that or you just had a heart attack. One or the other.
Nice.
Let's do this properly. Come on, try it again.
Well, if it's not Y...
Yeah, Yingling.
You spell it, smarty pants. Go ahead.
Jagermeister.
Then you're right. I would have gotten it wrong.
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Right. I always love those alcoholic questions.
Yeah, seriously, especially at this point of the day.
Now what are we going to do for
And
next...
I happen to have 2 iced bottles of Jägermeister in my freezer right now as we speak.
Well, what are we going to do for the next...
So what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Warming up to go there.
516-572-7440. There's your phone number to get a hold of us. Joe, you were like crawling around stuff all week, weren't you?
Yeah, I got reminded of my actual age this past couple of days. Let's see. Friday night was I got a call from one of my shops that I visit. There was this big horse hay hauling truck.
Horse hay hauling.
Horse hay hauling.
Yes.
It hauls hay for horses.
Mm-hmm.
Was it heavy duty?
Oh,
was it high?
It was humid under that too.
Was it horrific?
That's probably the kindest word, but I can't think of nothing else that starts with H right now.
But it wasn't a happy hauler right about now, no?
Oh, the guy wasn't happy at all. No.
He was Yiddish either.
No, he
wasn't. And it was Hebrew. I missed that totally.
Between that and it's like fun with phonics.
Yeah.
No car stuff today, guys. Fun with phonics. So call us with your spelling questions.
The interesting thing, the takeaway about this story is that when guys who are younger do this kind of work, they turn into guys like us who go, ooh, ah, ooh, ee, ah, I can't do that.
Right. It comes back to haunt you later on. Yes, so basically what I ended up having to do, it was a medium-duty truck. It was like a C60 or something.
Right.
I ended up trying to track down a no-crank condition, which ended up that the wiring was underneath the... tracking it down it was on top of the transmission, between the transmission and where it wrapped around into the main harness. Now, I could have pulled the thing out, but I had to actually find the piece of harness. So, essentially, I ended up crawling up under the truck, and kind of straddling the transmission. And because I wasn't going to get out of there like 6 or 7 times, I just had them just hand me tools up there. Right. And I ended up doing the wiring repair up under the truck. And then at some point they had to extricate me, which involved grease and a come along, but we won't go there.
See, my thought was, it's a work truck. Cut a hole in the floor from the inside and work from the cab, and
then weld it back.
Yeah, but then
maybe,
I was
maybe
thinking,
not.
I was thinking about that too. But first of all, we didn't know it was there.
Right.
At the beginning, because what happens when it comes to some of this stuff is that it becomes a turnstile. One thing turns to another thing, turns to another thing.
Yes.
And, when you're tracking stuff down, you could start ripping stuff apart all over the place. And then the next thing you know, once you find the stupid little piece of wire, the corroded connector or whatever the case may be, now you've got another 9 hours of labor to reassemble the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Let
so
me
the least invasive way of doing it's the best.
Since it was a relay, is that on a call-out chart, like a component chart?
It was the wiring to a relay.
But I'm saying the relay itself was there was a connector that ended up terminating at the relay, which was somewhere else.
Right. In other words, it was the neutral switch was down on the side of the tranny. Mm-hmm. The relay was over on the passenger side. Now, mind you, this stuff isn't in your typical Mitchell or All Day. No. It's a medium-duty truck.
So did you probe the relay to see if you had signal? And
right. Yeah, that's
how you knew that you had
part of the drill. And I knew I knew I could sit there and jump it and. everything was there except for the trigger from the ignition key.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had it down at the neutral switch. So what's between the neutral switch and the relay but a bunch of wiring.
And the wiring that was above the transmission was the affected wire? How did that happen?
Hay, horse poop.
In there?
Yeah, because they're driving over like where the horses go and stuff.
Where
do you think the
90
horses going? Like a polished wood floor? No.
At 90 miles an hour?
It's the Budweiser, however you spell it, Clydesdale, with a nice clean stable. Oh, no.
They're going that fast, they're kicking up poop all up in the top of the transmission so it's going to rot out the wires?
Yeah, what did the wire, what was the actual physical problem with the wires that you saw? Was it corrosion in the connector?
Green grunge.
Okay, so
green
grunge.
It was inside. It was inside. Yeah, it turned to it turned to that nice flowery greenish,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm sitting there with the meter just going from point A to point B because I had started from the switch like to where I could reach it up on top. It's a big truck, so like I'm doing chin ups over the engine, and I've got the meter leads, and I'm listening for the because I love that it's got the little function, the alert function on my Mr. Fluky.
That's why I like that new Fluke I got. The head actually pulls off. And
Yeah,
you can
I know.
take it with you.
I know. That's
so you can use it as a remote.
Cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, my Fluke is older than my kids.
Yeah.
And I will not part with it.
Mm-hmm.
But but at that point though, it was just, I realized where I had to go, and I'm like, right about now it's about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's getting dark.
And you're outside?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it was fairly nice weather. But the thing is that where this thing was sitting, if it didn't move, the shop is just coming to a crunching halt. So it's got to go. So once we found it, just ran some wire. This hand just kept sticking out from under the truck. Or they would actually, no, my hand didn't reach. They would actually put it on like my foot, and then I had to bring my leg up and grab it, and
You forget how to put wire spools on your back so you can just pull them over your shoulders.
Yeah. At that point, I've just decided I'm just going to have to become some kind of android. But that was one thing. And then the next day was trying to track down a Chrysler minivan that didn't have a horn. God forbid you don't have a horn in Queens.
Right.
Of course.
And then
you still got to use your finger.
Right. And unless your finger's got the little lighty thing on the top of it, and it's got that
Race
associated
does.
buzz. Yeah, I know, but I kept telling them to stop slamming it in stuff. But so that was basically tracking down another harness, and
it wasn't the clock spring.
It was not the clock spring. Everybody
thing.
goes for the clock spring with the horn, and of course not. It was the wire between the clock spring and the front control module, which is one of the umpteen body computers that even a mid-2000s Chrysler minivan has.
Mm-hmm.
So tracking that down, and finally once I started realizing that I was finding connectors that were not connected to anything, but other ones spliced, and somebody made the company that makes splicing the butt connectors.
The butt connectors.
No, this had more butt than the stalls at the ball game at halftime. Let me tell you.
So it was Major League Measure.
Yeah, there was major some type of bad stuff happening there. Some type of desecration. Let's go with desecration. So at that point, I know that I'm pretty much going from the steering wheel to the horn relay with my own wires, which involved, thankfully, like some of the I had one of the younger guys helping me that did the real stuff, but that was because once I got stuck under the dash, I wasn't coming out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then they come over and they pull me by my feet and yank me out, and then they listen to me crack and crunch, and they think it's really funny. You know what I mean? Plus the moaning.
Did you tell them, just wait?
Yeah.
Just wait.
Well, someday this will be you. Oh, no, it won't. Okay, good.
Then you can get under there.
Just keep swinging them hammers and running them air guns, and you'll just have carpal tunnel. Mm-hmm. It's okay, but your back will be good.
There's Joe lamenting once again on this Sunday, 516-572-7440. There's your phone number to get hold of us. Ray Guarino, Joe D. I'm Chris Switzer, and of course, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. If your clock in your vehicle is an hour behind and you haven't set it yet, then you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. If it's more than an hour behind, it's your problem. But if it's an hour behind, pat yourself on the back. You just start adding. Get one, or stick away one. Part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. Credo. We're coming right back right after this.
This is Motormouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show.
This is Glenn DeMilt. Join me every Tuesday and Saturday afternoon at 5 for 2 big hours of music and memories with the chairman of the board. It's Frank Sinatra on Sinatra's Serenade. Each week we'll take you on a musical journey through the career of this entertainment icon. It's all about old Blue Eyes. So listen to Sinatra's Serenade on WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College.
Streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC.
Excuse me.
Motormouth Radio.
All righty, welcome back to Motormouth Radio. We're taking those calls. 516-572-7440. Ray Guarino, Joe D. I'm Chris Switzer. And listening to how Joe is prying himself in and out of vehicles. You ever notice that we've gotten to that stage in our life, Joe, Ray, that you have to make a noise when you get in and out of a car?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to make a noise.
Anytime I perform anything that involves more than the most minor of bending, as a matter of fact, my family knows this. I go, yike! Because like something just starts popping out. So yeah, everybody makes some kind of noise. I remember Ray and I were sitting on the ground at a cruise night, and the two of us got up at the same time, and like the sound effects, like we actually people started turned around and stuff.
What's the matter with those guys?
The
guys older than us will look like, what's the matter with you? Yeah, that's true.
Let's go to the phones to the fun. How you on with the Motormouths?
Hi, is this Motormouth Radio?
Yes, this is. Who's this?
My name is Bob. I'm calling from Brooklyn. I have a few questions.
Hey, Bob, can you do us a favor? Just drop the radio down a little bit so we don't get that thick and exotic reverb.
I'll turn the radio off. How's that?
That's perfect.
Where you from in Brooklyn, Bob?
Park Slope.
Oh, okay.
I'm not new in Park Slope. Many years in Park Slope.
Ah. And
so am I on the radio right now?
You're new here. That's what counts.
Yes, and you're certainly on the radio right now, yeah.
What do you know?
Dozens of people.
I'll tell you, I've never heard your show before, and, it's very real, and I like it, and I own a 1989 Volvo 740 sedan, non-turbo.
Wow.
Had it since 1989.
Son of a gun, Brent, you've had it since new.
Joe loves Volvos.
Yeah, and we can't wait to hear the lament on this.
Well, if it had turbo, I wouldn't have it anymore because the turbos were terrible. I once repaired all the old-looking turbo lines on my 86 wagon, which was a giant furniture mover, but I didn't change one of them, and that one had a small crack, and when I put the pedal to the metal, the rods went right through the motor.
Oh, boy.
So, but those were terrible turbos. New turbos are much better. Mm-hmm. But, I keep repairing it, and embrittlement is a major issue. I have make-do guys who help me get the lights on when it's time for inspection, and so on. Mm-hmm. But I'm ready now. I think I have tires that are 6 or 7 years old. They only have maybe 15,000, 20,000 miles wear on them, and they look new. But because of the issue of embrittlement of tires, I'm wondering whether I can keep going with them. Because if I have a $600-800 expense, I think I'm going to call it quits. Wow. And so the motor that is perfect, though, and I don't burn oil. It's wonderful. But so I'd like to know about the tires, what I might do. And additionally, whether you think it's worth holding on to this car.
That's always a lovely question.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay, question number 1. Car stay inside or outside?
Outside. Say it again?
Is the car parked inside or outside?
The car sits in upstate New York in my driveway, and some winters is encased in ice and snow.
Right.
I have to keep jumping the battery because every time I go up there, it's dead. Mm-hmm. But once we get the season going, it's fine. Mm-hmm. The other thing is it has none of the modern safety devices.
Right.
It was number 2 in safety after the wagon of the same model in 1989. Mm-hmm. But I don't have ABS or any of the anti-flip over, the devices that keep you stationary in an awkward condition.
Right, right.
Also, I keep making repairs. Like I recently was able to get a hold of the tubing and a used switch for the brake so I could have cruise control. That was last year. found a really good old mechanic who saved some of the parts. A lot of things are not available anymore. So, plus, I think I'm ready to leave the cult of Volvo.
Okay.
I think you just answered your question.
No more meatballs for you there, huh?
No more Swedish meatballs.
I was going to jump the
line. Well, let me tell you, I have a story. One time I was driving upstate. I'm in Sullivan County. I don't know if you know Sam's in Liberty, but there's the guys who own all the tow trucks and bring trucks off the road. And so anyway, so I went to Sam's in fits and starts, and I needed several parts. And, there was nothing up there. So I rented a car from him and went up to my home in upstate New York. It took 2 weeks for the Swedish ambassador to bring them up to Sam. And, I was rather disappointed.
That's what happens when you have an 89 Volvo, yeah.
That's the fun part about them vehicles, yeah.
So what were you going to say, Ray? I'm sorry. Ray?
Oh, you went to sleep.
That's right, yeah. I was going to say, you've laid it out quite concisely, Bob. I would say this. If you want to keep the car, don't invest the $700. Buy 4 used tires. Just get 4 good used tires because they're going to rot anyway. And then you'll get a couple more years out of it, and your investment is less. And then you'll still be safe.
And then just get rid of it.
Yeah, well, it's always you decide those things as you go.
Does anybody want these? Any collectors? Any aficionados? Do you think it has a value?
Yeah.
Can I get $1,500 from somebody?
I think you probably would get more for the tires than you would for the car.
Interesting.
Depends what kind of shape the car is
in.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and then if I get rid of this car, I'd like to buy a new car and put my current car that I keep in the city upstate, and I'll get a new car for town to go back and forth to make the long haul with. What do you think of these Subarus? I'm just curious. The sedan, the one that Consumer Reports like so much.
Good friend Kilowatt Kevin is driving a Subaru Legacy, and I will tell you, it's his second Subaru. He loves it. I've driven in the car. The fit and finish is fantastic. It's very quiet. It feels like European leather in the car. It's a very, very well-appointed car, and it was not very expensive. I'm trying to push my daughter into a Crosstrek.
Yeah,
their little SUV, but she doesn't want to lease.
Subaru's got a good rep.
And how does the car handle? Because I drive upstate a lot.
Very nice.
And I'm on country roads a lot and dirt roads, all kinds of stuff like that.
Very all-wheel drive, yeah. So
very good.
What are you driving now as the?
Well, I have an 04 Passat wagon with a 1.8 turbo.
Okay.
And the car has been great. I've had not one problem with it in 125,000 miles.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
It's like iron. I mean, there was a recall for the heat shield on the floor, and there was a sludging issue with the engines of some of those cars, and they recommend you change the oil every 5 with synthetic oil. You guys agree with that?
Absolutely, synthetic's the way to go these days, especially.
And you think every 5 is the way to go with that instead of 10?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of reasons why 5,000 is a much more practicable figure these days. But
that's great, and I'm at 7, so let me go ahead and change the oil.
Yeah. and then you're going to banish it to the outreaches of Sullivan County, where it can slowly languish and destruct like the Volvo.
Say it again. Just say it one more time.
You're gonna put it up at upstate New York, where it's going to wither and die. Because
which one, the VW?
Yeah, because that's what's happening to the Volvo. Because you're not.
The VW is not in '89 though. It went on the road in '05.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's good. I'm getting my garage fixed. Maybe I'll keep it in the garage.
That would probably prolong the life.
Big help on a number of things there.
Yes, but Bob,
say again.
It's a good idea to get the garage
inside.
Yeah, get the car inside because you will prolong the life.
The mice move in though, wherever it is. Mice move in, and you find stores of seeds and nuts.
Yes.
Every little nook and cranny under the hood in these cars.
Usually in my place, I just found seeds and stems.
My goodness.
Well, Bob, thanks so much for the call. We really do appreciate it. And
thank you so much. So I'm going to look at a Subaru. I think that it's also less likely to go out of business than Volvo. I don't know what's going to happen with VW.
Good point. Very true.
These days,
yeah, they're in trouble. Very true. But
guys, I like the show. I'm going to listen next week as well. Thanks so much.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Be well.
Take care. Bye-bye. 516-572-7440 is the phone number to get a hold of us. That was interesting. Yeah, a nice 89 Volvo.
You know something, though? People are, when he said cult, they ain't kidding. Because
Volvo people?
Yeah. I mean, there's this one shop where they had this Volvo that was pretty it was crashed up pretty good, or I forget what exactly happened to it, but it was going to its final resting place. There was this other guy there that had the same model vehicle, but he was pulling stuff off it, any of the good stuff before the other one went to the yard.
Wow.
He was like, yeah, well, mine's only got 220,000 miles on it. I could use this, I could use that, and well, that's wearing out. So yeah. I mean, I get a lot of those early 2000s.
Do you remember which model? It wasn't like a 240.
The boxy one.
Yeah, the 240s. They're all boxy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Since the last 20 years.
Right. No, I think it was a 240. Yeah. It was that one that's.
And Bob's was the larger of the. It wasn't the boxy one. It was the larger one.
Right. Well, I think they all kind of went to that same class in geometry there with the rectangles and the parallelograms and stuff there. Yeah. But no, they're like friggin' tanks. They really are.
That's for sure.
Somebody did come in at one point when they had the clay model and went like this around the corners. They did do a little shaping, like in the 2000s, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what Swedish people drink, but they kind of rolled across the hood there and kind of made it a little slopey.
And I'll tell you, some of the Volvos now, I think, are the better looking of the newer cars.
Oh yeah,
sharp looking car.
I have one. I have one of my relatives has one, and it's a nice car.
There's that little wagon that I totally dig. It's got the taillights that almost sneak up around the whole hatch.
It ain't that little. If it's the one like a V70, I think.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Nice car.
Nice car.
All wheel drive, 5-cylinder turbo. Nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, exactly.
Matter of fact, they seem to prefer it to their other European German Teutonic.
That
I love so much there.
The three letters, lettered one.
Yes.
Which is another vehicle. Which when I had my 5 Series, my early '80s 5 Series, that was another car. I don't think they built them with less than 300,000 miles. Everybody I knew that had an old 5 Series, early 80s, they all had 300,000+ miles on them. Yeah. And they were all like you say, guys were like aficionados. They were fixing things and straightening things out and adjusting and twisting and all kinds of good stuff. They were just so indentured to these cars. And I'm like, it's got 300 grand. Mine had like 163, and they were like, it's not even broken in.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, what happens is, I think, because the Europeans, the ownership model for European cars was like you bought it and you hung on to it forever. Like it was like an heirloom and stuff. So people hung on to cars. They made them serviceable. They made them long-lived.
It's a mindset. I met a guy at my chiropractor's office. He's into old BMWs. And he, like you said, he repairs, he fixes, he tinkers. He brings them back to life. He helps his friends do it. He's in the cult. And yet one day he was there last year when I rolled in with the Pontiac, and he saw it, started a dialogue, and he says, "Can I go take a look at the car?" I'm like, "Yeah, come on." And the guy was so into it, just from the mechanicalness of it. He's like picking out every little thing, because that's where his mindset is at. And I said, good, I'm glad to see you cross the boundary between foreign and American, because a lot of guys don't. And it was nice talking to him. Yeah,
he appreciates fine engineering.
He's a mechanical guy. We had a lot in common that way. He's into the mechanicalness of things.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, because the new stuff, everything's electronic.
Yeah.
Which means unless you've got some very interesting fingertips, you ain't reflashing nothing without taking it back to...
Unless you can pass that test that I gave you. You're not...
Oh, Maron, yeah, jeez. Let's put it this way. Now I realize how big a moron I really am when it comes to this stuff. Now I just know...
It's just school book
just
learning.
Push this button. Yeah, right?
It's just book learning.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what you need for the engineering end of things.
Really?
Well, how about we talk about what you got in your hand there after we take a quick break right here at Motormouth Radio.
Maybe this paper, too.
That's Joe D. Ray Guarino. I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio that you will be glad to hear on iHeartRadio, and you can also hear it on Performance Motorsports Network, as well as watching us. Where are we? BarnLive.tv/Motormouth Radio. Check us out and also call us. 516-572-7440 is the phone number to get a hold of us. Words, wisdom, all right here for you at Motormouth Radio. Keep it where you got it.
With your car questions, give us a call at 516-572-7440.
Whether you're a hot rod or a Camaro chick, the Motormouths will always do the trick. Motormouth Radio, baby.
College of the Airs, listening to music. A basic concept of music is not a typical music theory, Music History and Music Appreciation course is a course aimed at listeners without formal musical training to help them gain greater enjoyment and understanding forms of music. So listen to Listening to Music on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College.
Listening to Music, College of the Air, Music 100, Mondays and Fridays at 2 a.m., Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. on 90.3 WHPC.
Got a call question? Give the Motormouths a call at 516-572-7440.
Alrighty, back at you with all the words and wisdom. 516-572-7440. Ray Guarino, Joe D. Both behind the shop bench. I'm Chris Switzer. And when we last left, they were looking at a piece of paper and making lurch noises.
Yeah, it's another reason why you should stay in school, kids, because this is some heavy-duty learning right here with electronics on a level that I don't deal with. And now, as Ray put it very blunt, very well, that it's how the stuff that I say, it's no good, how it actually works. And Ray could explain that a little bit better than me.
Yeah,
on the component level?
It's more on the engineering level. It's like instead of, we know what a body control module is, a computer, and you diagnose to the component level and say, okay, this BCM is bad, give me a new one. Or like you were saying before, the real troubleshooting that goes on with finding, the modules are okay, but I'm still not getting signal. Well, now it's a wiring issue. There's nobody's talking because of the smoke signals ain't flowing through the air. Well, this is the stuff that's inside the modules and inside the computers. Like we all see, most people know what a microchip looks like.
Sure.
In this class, you learn what's inside the microchip, and it's like the equivalent of tens of thousands of transistors, hundreds of thousands of transistors and diodes and switching networks and all sorts of crazy stuff.
It's like one of those kits you used to buy from Radio Shack, except really, really little.
Yeah.
A Heath kit?
Yeah, they had the Heath kit, and they had the Radio Shack one, too. It was like a board with all these holes in it, and you used to plug in different components, and you could make the buzzer buzz, or the light up, or the little wheel turn, or whatever. And then they shrank it down to the size of, like, your fingernail or better, right?
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
Now today we're in nanotechnology, where everything is, you need a microscope.
Yeah.
Even on this stupid thing, my MP3 player, the pins on this, I had to fix the plug that went in. I had to the pins got bent, and I didn't have the right technology. I had to, and I know who did though. And I called Honda John. I said, "Hey John, you got to help me out." He took it to work because what he does is he has that microscope that you solder under. That's how you do wave soldering, and you do the surface mount technology.
Wow!
You don't do it by eye, and even if you had great eyes, you couldn't do it by eye. You have to use.
It's past the human ability.
Yeah, and imagine the size of the soldering tip. It's like Needle Dick the bug humper.
So what did
what did he do?
So what did Honda John do to repair the pin on the MP3 player?
What he did was I agreed to have him take the harness that you plug in, the cable that you plug into the computer, and just affix it to the MP3 player. Just go in there and straighten the pins and solder it, because one of them might have broke. So he just did a soldering job, so it's now connected permanently. I said, that's fine. I can live with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But you couldn't do it. It was either out of the thing, it was in the garbage. So he like I said, you had to do it with that microscope soldering, for the surface technology.
Jeez.
Any electronic component today, cell phones, that's all this stuff is. It's,
you ain't getting in there with your screwdrivers from Craftsman no more. That's for sure.
No, you're not taking the number 2 and prying the back open. No.
Joe, how many computers are on a new car off the top of your head? How
a brand new car?
Yeah.
Geez, the last one I looked at real quick, I think it was like late 2010, like a CTS Caddy.
Okay.
36.
Okay. 36 individual computers.
36.
I did a piece on this about a month or two ago, and because I found data that the Caddy, the SUV, the Escalade, the big SUV, has 75.
Right.
Individual computers.
75.
And that number's going up constantly. You think of some of these hybrids, like everything's a stinking module. There's an ashtray module. No, I mean seriously, they have
ashtray delete module.
they have stuff for just about every system, lighting system, the stuff that we took for granted with wiring. Now pretty much there's like everything's done on the CAN line, on the data line, and there's no real carrying the current, so everything's handled by a module at the point. Rather than running these big complicated harnesses.
I like that, but one of the articles I read over the years was the amount of wiring in a modern car. They weighed it, and it was like a couple 100 pounds.
Just the wire.
But now with CAN bus, there's a lot. Now you're using very, very thin wires because they're just signal wires and not current carrying wires, like Joe said. But I wonder, I'd like to see the comparison of the comparable vehicle, and if you took out all the modules and switching networks and wiring and compared it to the old stuff, I bet you it's heavier now. Because cars are getting heavier.
Sure.
Well, safety weighs. I mean, anything that's safety or technology, it all weighs.
That's telemetrics. That's not even safety.
Well,
it talks to the safety part of it, but that's we're not talking airbags. I'm not talking about that's
some of the structure. Yeah, you know what I mean. But they put a lot of stuff in cars. I mean, I know what you're saying. You think if you take out a lot of the technology and a lot of the stuff that was whether it be by marketing. How they picked it up in marketing or by legislated in, and you take it all out, what you'd have left is, you'd say, Schwinn.
Yeah, I was watching the show on how it's made, and I think they were building a new Corvette, and the way they wrap the harnesses around that body shell as they're building the car. I'm thinking, there's no way you're ever getting that out unless the car looks like it does now. It doesn't have a body on it. Now, what about when there's a short right there in that curve that goes around a post?
Which is usually where it happens.
And sometimes it happens and they have to fix it through recall. God knows how they do that. But I'm looking, when you look at it skeletally wise and you say, oh, this is why you can't fix these things.
Right, because
there's no chance.
Oh, the heck with the guy who's got to service it. They just hope that it lasts whatever the warranty period is.
Right.
It's kind of the opposite of that European model we were talking about before. The car's got a life. Once it's done, that's it. Junk it, turn it into a tuna fish can or whatever.
Like Chevelle's life was over 40 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still with us. The Camaro, too.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go to the phones. To the fun. Hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, gentlemen. How you doing today?
Christian.
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Long time no hear, eh?
Yeah.
What's up?
How you been?
I'm good.
We know you've been listening.
What? Oh, yeah, I have been. Yeah, that's why it's easier for me just to chime in on the backside there, on the side band, as we say.
Right on the side. You got a 10-10 on the side. I get Christian during the week, right?
I just wanted to give a quick shout and say hello, and I just wanted to give a shout out to congratulations to Michael Barnes, number 34, for winning the Daytona 200 yesterday.
And whose engine was he sitting atop?
Well, he was actually racing for another team. Here's the irony of the whole deal. Michael Barnes was part of our team in the past 3 seasons. And this year, he basically retired, and he was just at my shop like a few weeks. Like during the snowstorm, he was at our shop. And I was having a discussion with him, and I'm like, so what are you going to do now? I don't know, and he was just thinking this and that. And he still coaches road racing to younger kids, but for some reason, I turned on Fans Choice yesterday, and there he was in the lead, and I had no idea he actually came out of retirement to go race.
Just when he thought he was out, they rigged him back in.
47 years old, racing against 20-year-old younger kids.
Great.
57-lapper, dominated the race yesterday. It was unbelievable.
Gives us all hope.
I couldn't be any more proud for him. I mean, it's kind of like Peyton Manning winning the Super Bowl this year in motorcycle racing with his career to come out of retirement, win a race like that. I mean, that's like the biggest motorcycle race in the United States.
But now the biggest question is, does he make a noise when he gets on the bike?
I can only imagine. He was speechless. He was in tears at the podium. I mean, he was just,
That's great.
When someone races motorcycles for that length of time, it was really touching to see that race yesterday and see him win it. I'm really proud of him.
That's great.
That is very cool.
So he's been a part of our racing family, so it was great. It was really good. He was on a Yamaha, no less, too. So
what's new over at Mach Modified for this year, Christian?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on.
When's the open house party?
What are you talking about?
The party you keep saying you're going to have that you had without us that we wanted to go to.
Well, we're not really in Farmingdale anymore.
Oh, you're not? Oh, that's right. You were doing some merging. Well, you want to talk about it or no?
I mean, I can. I was thinking maybe I would just come on air one day. I don't know.
Okay, whatever you want to do is fine. There's always a seat for you if you want to come in.
Get over here.
Yeah, maybe we'll work on that,
Okay.
Kind of like a full circle for me doings, but, things are going okay. We just just had a minor relocation for a better situation.
Excellent.
And, just basically, growing it into a bigger, it's more, how can I explain? I I heard the last show with Steppy is talking about the transmission shops and you know how a lot of places are folding up, and I don't know what show that was.
That was last week.
That was last week. Yeah. So you know, it's funny because like he's so right. Like when you're in a business and things are tougher and striving to turn things around and make the business better, accommodate what people want out there in the motorcycling world, at least. You know, the transmit, it's rough, you know. So I fully understood what he was talking about. So
Christian, what makes it, we know what Pat makes, what's rough about Pat's situation. What makes the motorcycle situation, is it the same issues or are there anything different?
You know, on Long Island, there's been such a big change in the motorcycle industry. A lot of old shops have closed up that have been around, you know, like in Freeport alone. Look at Sunrise Honda, how long that was there for years, and Our Shop, Orient Express was there for how long,
Right.
you know?
Well, they've both been out for a while, but yeah, I mean, you know, Mitch is still there.
Mitch is still there, that's like, he's the last of the Mohicans in that point, you know.
And now the other guy, the German guy that's right over there, right across
Well,
the
he's
street.
just a maniac in his own world, yeah.
I know. Christmas Day, there's bikes out there, the tent's out. Like, wow, this guy.
He's an absolute maniac.
You go by there 11 o'clock at night and the be coming home from a cruise night, the lights are on and he's out there working. Holy crap, I'm like, jeez.
That's I've dealt with him many times.
Okay.
We've known each other. But he's on another tangent. Like, you know, he's not... I accommodate to a lot of different areas, but I don't know what he's up to, but...
You know, like, I gotta say though, like your shop, I see a lot of long bikes, a lot of choppers, but I see stock stuff, I see baggers, cruisers, I see everything. On dirt bikes, he's got everything. Three-wheelers, quads. Like, what doesn't he work on?
Yeah, no, we're all-inclusive in a way, you know, but more or less, you know, we really dig into a lot of aspects of it where people... You know, I mean, we're really deep into suspension work too, and you know, my recent endeavors now are, you know, we're also part of a big company that does a lot of suspension for racing and stuff. So we've really upped the ante on that, and we're basically setting up a suspension center specific, you know, to a lot of things as far as the product itself. And
you're high performance oriented, where he's more maybe not as high performance oriented.
Yeah, like we don't unbolt the shock and put a new one on. We rebuild shocks. You know, we
unbolt the
revalve
shock,
shocks.
take it apart, rebuild it, and put it back on. Right.
Yes.
Instead of just taking the set out of the box.
Yeah. So that's, you know, in the real estate matter, you know, we needed to be in a bigger place and have everything like under one roof. So maybe I'll come on, we'll discuss what's going on. And
so let me ask you this. Did you effectively fool and avoid all the hipsters now that can't find you?
No.
Oh, damn.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I figured the felt hats and funny beards would be like looking around and going, where'd he go? Where'd he go, man? Oh, coffee.
Hipsters ride motorcycles?
Oh.
No, they wear motorcycle jackets and they walk their little teacup poodles around in Manhattan. You know, the guy walking the little teacup dog with the Ducati jacket.
I figured they drive Vespas or something. I don't know.
No, they might, but usually when they're driving the Vespas, they have like a mustache and a metal flake helmet with like some sort of like ski goggles or something.
With
I
a
don't
stripe
know
on it. That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's the gentleman. That's the rider gentleman. That's the one. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
I love it. Yeah.
That's a fillet of hipsters that are actually on wheels. Then you have the ones walking the dog with the Ducati jacket on, looking
hipsters
cool.
on wheels.
And then when you go to Brooklyn, that's it. That's the I don't know what you want to call that. That's like the beehive of hipsters right there. That's where they evolve. There's like a big hole coming out of the earth, and the hipsters flow out of there.
Yeah, big hive. Park Slope, Williamsburg, Greenpoint.
Yeah, you want to see what's on the top and what's in right now. You just go to Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
Yep.
You'll figure it out in a hot second.
Just don't go to Gravesend, Brooklyn. You're not going to see any hipsters there, that's for sure.
Oh, hell no.
You know, next the hipsters will be kayaking in the river over there.
With the goannas?
You know what?
Up through Fresh Kills.
It's the only river you can chew.
Fly fishing.
You've thought about this once or twice before, haven't you?
I think I might have, yes. I might have had a few comments.
I think we touched a nerve.
I touched the nerve the other day when I went to the scrapyard and I sent Ray the video of the tubes.
I didn't know what that was at first. I'm looking at this video and like, what? It looked like slugs from something, but they were old radio tubes, glass tubes.
Moving into the new place, I had to do a little bit of a purge. Scrapyard with 1,500 pounds of crankshafts and cylinder heads.
Oh, nice.
I was there, and I'm like sitting there, look over, and I saw them tubes sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that's, and then of course Ray sends back, well, I got all the equipment to work on that
you have
stuff.
the tube testers if you want.
Right.
Right.
I'll give another shout. Oceanside, he's another one. He used to fix TVs back in the 60s, so he has a tube tester. And anytime my amplifier is not working right, I bring it over to him, and he puts it, he gives me a little tune-up on my tubes, and I'm good to go.
Beautiful. We need those guys.
Cool. That's Brian. That's an old school thing right there.
Sure
I'm making
is.
a comeback too with vinyl and everything.
We used to use those to do troubleshooting with. Wow. Until transistor technology came in and we got flukes.
It's definitely the test show. Christian, we're gonna take a break, my brother.
Thank you, gentlemen. Big shout out to Michael Barnes, number 34, for winning that 200 yesterday.
Absolutely.
47 years old, gave it all, dominated. Very proud of him. Awesome.
Send him a big congratulations from the gang here at Motormouth Radio. We'd love it.
I will. Yep. You guys are on PMN, so I'm just trying to get the name out there for him.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a legend now, and I've been pleasured and honored to have dealt with him in the past. He's like the daddy of all the racers out there, and I was glad to see that yesterday. Very touched.
Very cool.
All right, Christian, we'll catch up with you later.
Thanks again, my brother. Be safe. Bye-bye. 516-572-7440. That's the phone number. Get a hold of us just like Christian did. You can talk to Joe D. You can talk to Ray Guarino. You can talk to me, Chris Switzer. And, of course, the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. If your clock in the vehicle is an hour behind, or if it doesn't work at all, you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour. So keep it where you got it and go set that clock. And we'll be coming right back right after these good words. Hold on.
I have a question about... Give the Motormouths a call, 516-572-7440.
Whether your car is fast or slow, we're your number one radio show. Motormouth Radio, baby. Ow.
You got the touch!
Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and hear a program unlike any other. Join me, host Justin Greenberg, as I play music that I promise you're not going to hear anywhere else, and some hits that you'll be singing along to with as well. It's Saturday Rock, Saturdays at 9 a.m. on 90.3 FM, WHPC, the radio voice of Nassau Community College in Garden City, New York.
Ooh, yeah!
Got a call? Give the 7440.
All right, coming back at you with the maximum amount of automotive knowledge laid out by Raw. This is Motormouth Radio. Ray Guarino, Joe D. I'm Chris Switzer. We're taking those calls. 516-572-7440. Ray has a little piece of paper in his hand.
I got a lot of them around here. I've been collecting paper, and I bring them home and I throw them out.
Got a coupon there for, I don't know, what is that?
No coupons.
No, Yingling. Yeah, it's a coupon for Yingling.
Yeah, I've never had that beer.
516-572-7440. You're not missing much. So anything going on during the week? What's happening? Any highlights? Joe, are you working on stuff? I mean, you working on your own stuff?
Pretty much. I've been just doing the stuff that shows up at the shop, and Ray and I were discussing before about maybe it's time to start blowing the dust off of the different
the fun cars.
Different fun cars,
I agree.
I got mine ready.
Yeah, I know that. I know yours is headed in the right direction. I think I have to go visit the undisclosed location and kiss the Camaro on the nose and see what it's doing. Maybe do its yearly fluid go through.
Mm-hmm. And you just mentioned that you're thinking about farming out the the gas tank on that car.
Right. Yeah.
What's wrong with the gas tank?
Well, the fuel tank sending unit, the gauge is not happening. It's kind of all over the place. Years ago, when I got the car resurrected back in about 2010 or so, it was all shot. So it was at a friend of mine's shop. We had dropped the tank, which on one of those third-generation Camaros involves you got to drop the rear axle down, you got to drop the exhaust down. It's a big mishigas. You know what I mean? So basically, I think something went wrong with the installation of the aftermarket sending unit that we put in. So that's got to get dropped down again. And I ain't doing that in the floor. No. I mean, last time I borrowed my friend's lift. Luckily, he was slow. It was a point of the year where he was able to let me have a spare lift off in the side of the shop for a little bit, no big deal. But now it's got to go up in the air.
Yeah,
everything's got to calm down.
Screw jacks are your friend.
Yeah, I hear you, but still, I mean, that high, you got to get it up.
No, that's what I mean. That's screw jacks are your friend, then, yeah, just to drop it down, yeah.
Yeah.
But now the good thing is you had all the bolts loose, and I'm sure you've conditioned them appropriately. So
yeah, not to mention that car spent most of its life, since it's been back out indoors. It only spent one winter outdoors, so that has a big effect on things.
I hope it wasn't, not this winter, I hope it wasn't last winter.
It was last winter.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the winter of 14 into 15.
That was brutal.
With that picture of me standing there going,
right.
that winter. And
not a good winter to leave a car outdoors.
Right.
At least was it covered?
It was all covered up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
leaving it out and driving it are two different things. At least it's not, it didn't suck up the road salt. So
right. Oh no, it was just never going to see the road at that point. But now it's back in the UD. I mean, even though things are not as cheap as they used to be, I decided, all things considered, it's just better on the vehicle to just keep it. I mean, that's something that you have to consider when you're keeping an older vehicle. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you have the keep it outside, keep it covered up. I mean, let's forget about just letting it lay out in the elements. That's just bad. Because even when I was trying to ask our caller there with the Volvo, was when it was outside, was it the tires exposed to the ultraviolet light?
Oh, I'm sure it was.
You know what I mean? Which I think I would have been not so quick to pull the trigger if that vehicle had stayed inside.
Right. Probably.
You know what I mean? I would have said, but once it's been outside and exposed to the UV light, even though some of us use suntan lotion on it, one of our callers did that at one point.
Well, that's why I went for the used tire.
Absolutely.
Used tires.
Right. But, that to me is like a worst case scenario. And then covering it up, you still have stuff coming in from the ground.
Sure.
You know what I mean? From the ambient conditions. Even most people's detached garages, with like a dirt floor or not finished. That's where the Chevelle is sitting, and it's picked up over the last year or so. It's picked up a good share of
the cobwebs.
Surface,
is insane.
Yeah, cobwebs. Woodland creatures, all kinds of stuff gets up under there.
Now, after you get this fuel tank thing, you still have that clutch issue to deal with at some point. Which is another fun job.
What's wrong with the clutch?
Well, it's a little tired. Once it warms up, you can hear the throb bearing singing.
Okay,
that kind of stuff. So, and it's not that bad because I gave it the old fourth gear up the hill test.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it still just barely passes that.
But you had some chatter.
Yeah.
Well, then again, we were debating.
And then I just threw my passenger out of the car and chatted.
Yeah. We were debating if it was your leg or if it was the actual car doing it. Because I think you said Mike drove it and it didn't chatter.
It wasn't as bad. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of mounts that I'm sure that they're 30-odd years old.
Yeah.
That are probably a little.
Well, the training mounts themselves too.
But but the car has got, what's the mileage on it?
24,000, yeah.
Not 240,000.
No, 24,000.
Got more than my Impala.
24 grand.
Yeah,
and this is, it's so funny how these maladies are caused from lack of use.
Well, part of it is that it is an early 80s Chevy at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Second of all, it did see quite a bit of everyday use for a while.
Right. For how long? Maybe a week?
No, my wife at the time, girlfriend, drove that car to work.
Really?
And, for a while there, she had a short commute to one of her jobs there, and she used it. That car saw us a fair amount. That was our going on vacation car because it had like working air conditioning and stuff.
Right. That's always a vacation car.
So it was that car saw its share of use, and now of course it's been sitting there. It's been doing a lot of sitting around for the last 30-odd years. 34 to 34, 35. Let's see, 82. Yeah. All right. So it's up there. Mm-hmm. So there's just going to be some stuff that's going to decrepitate after a while. So got to stay after it. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally get it.
Yeah, and hopefully someday it'll be up to the level of Ray's goat.
Oh, well, it means you're going to tear it apart, punch a couple of holes in the firewall, and install a couple of dozen stereos in it. Hang a fake head from the rearview mirror.
I can't do that because of the car's pedigree. I can't do that. That car's got to stay pretty original.
That's sure.
I agree.
But you have the decal kit for it, which is nice.
Yeah, I have quite a few decals. I don't have a complete set. Well, that's another thing I was thinking about. Maybe bringing it down to. There's a couple of dull spots on it.
Yeah, get it buffed.
And some of the decals are kind of shot up. Yeah. There's always stuff to do.
We know guys with body shops.
Yes, we certainly. Yeah, there are quite a few of them on the on our list of cohorts.
But it is a keeper. It's not like you're going to flip this puppy, right?
Nah, I can't.
No, there's no reason to. Why would you?
No. Yeah. Besides that, my son's pretty fond of it too.
He is, huh?
You know what I mean? At some point when I get the urge to modify something, then I'll be like, okay. See, that's the problem. The two cars that I have in my life like that, you don't really want to modify them because they're so darn original.
Yeah, but the Chevelle does need that OD.
Yeah.
Just like it needed the disc brakes, it needs the OD.
Right. There are certain things to make the thing drivable on an everyday basis, you know.
Because you know how I feel about it. That car's going up in value, that Camaro.
Yeah, I know.
They're starting to rise.
I know. Well, at some point or another...
A 24,000-mile 82 Camaro that's as unique as yours.
Yeah, I hear you.
Uniquely optioned out as yours, I should say.
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to...
That's something that'll raise an eyebrow.
Exactly.
Just like Ray's SS.
Right.
It's just the same way.
Not yet. They're in a low point right now.
Well, they are, but that's a good thing because then there's no way to go but up.
I just spoke with Haggerty to reassess my policy, and I talked to Steve Linden, too, because I was curious. I said, you know what? I said, wow, I can't replace the GOAT for what it's insured for, right, at this point. I realized, I'm at that point. I got to raise it. And Steve Linden said, find out what they'll give you as a max and go for the max. So
that makes sense.
So what could it possibly cost?
So my broker recommended $50,000 for that car. I said, wow, I think that's a little over. I said, I can replace it for less than that, but still. And we're going to keep the Impala where it is. And he bumped the fee. I had the Fiat insured for $5,000. He wants it up at $22,000.
Why?
What?
Why? He wants an extra $100
in the meth labs that we should know about?
I don't know. He said he brought that car up.
Maybe it's a hipster thing.
He says to me, it's a convertible, so when the top goes down. I said, yeah, I know the top goes down. He says, well...
Because that only works at certain clubs. Who cares about the club?
I know. And he said to me that, of course, I've always known, if the car's hit, it's toast.
Right.
He goes, so you're going to have to replace it.
Think of a road trip with the car, and then you come back with a bus.
Yeah, right?
This one-way walks out behind the barn, huh?
This was from your insurance professional. So we're talking now about exactly what I'm going to do with the coverage. I may modify that a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Bring that back down.
Well, but the thing is, at $6 per thousand,
right.
you have to even if you cut it in half, you're saving $100.
Sure.
So it's like, gee, does it really pay?
Oh no, God forbid something happens.
Yeah, right.
That's not bad at all. And considering that you can't, it's not like an everyday stock car where if you get the whatever value they assign it, you'll probably go out and find another one, same color, same options. Maybe not your exact car, but you'll get something comparable. You're not going to find something like yours.
Like the TR6s, the problem with finding a Fiat Spider is finding one that's not rusted to death. And that's why I took the one that I have, because it wasn't rusted. And that's the problem. They're kind of harder to find.
Well, I would think that would enter into the appraised value of the car.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that's probably... So that's what I'm thinking. Well, yeah, then if that was the case, it would be time to shop for another car. Some other convertible.
I would think.
Hey, switch it up.
Well, gentlemen, we've switched up another hour right here on Motormouth Radio.
Oh, good. Now it's nap time.
Oh, yes.
Been waiting for this.
For Joe D. and Ray Guarino, I'm Chris Switzer. This is Motormouth Radio. We will talk next week. And, of course... the advice we always love to give, don't follow us home. See ya!
Bye.
See ya.